Welcome to Vihaba News. This is a series of providing the latest updated news for agricultural products, not just in Vietnam but also in the world. And in our very first live broadcast, we would like to give you guys some updated news on the tea market. As all of you know, the tea market in the past months of 2021 also has many fluctuations in both output and value. The tea market in 2021 is strongly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, causing the tea output of some leading countries to decrease. In Vietnam, ranked 5th in the world in terms of tea export, also showed a decline in some key markets. And for the global tea market overview, the global tea market is expected to witness a compound annual growth rate of 4.7% during the forecast period 2020 to 2025. China is the world's largest tea producer, followed by countries like India, Kenya, Sri Lanka, and others. Kenya is not an exception to the downward trend of world tea production, but however, exports still show growth. In addition, Poland and the United States are emerging as potential markets for the export of tea products. And going further into some leading countries of tea production, the first country we want to mention here is Kenya. Kenya tea exports increased despite adverse weather conditions. Kenya, an East African country, is known as a major exporter of tea, as Kenya tea has been exported to about 50 countries. And in the generally difficult situation, the past year in Kenya witnessed a growth in both export volume as well as revenue. According to the Kenya Tea Commission, despite the adverse weather condition, Kenya's tea export in the first half of 2021 reached 256.7 thousand tons, up to 19% over the same period in 2020. However, Kenya's tea production in the first half of 2021 reached 274.1 thousand tons, down 8.8% compared to the same period in 2020. As the temperature is colder now, the dry period has come. So in the last months of 2021, production output is expected to decrease. And the third news for Kenya's market, Kenya exports to 33 markets, of which Kenya exports the most tea to the Pakistan market, followed by Egypt, Great Britain, Sudan, United Arab Emirates, and these are the main importing countries of Kenya tea. Currently, the Poland and the US are also potential markets for tea products for all tea exporting countries. And the second news concerning the Poland tea market. Poland has the highest per capita tea consumption in Europe. Poland is currently the 6th largest economy in the European Union and the largest market among Eastern European countries, with nearly 40 million inhabitants. Tea consumption demand per capita 1 kg per person per year. Poland is a center of tea export in Europe, so there is a great need to import tea for consumption and export. Poland's tea import in the first 3 months of 2021 reached 10,100 tons, worth 26.5 million euros, up to 0.3% in volume and down 3.8% in value over the same period in 2020. The average price of imported teas reached 2,630.5 euros per ton, down more than 4% over the same period in 2020. Poland imports mainly black and green tea in the first half of 2021. However, Polish consumers are moving towards new premium tea production such as fruit, herbal flavored teas, and especially high quality specialties. And this market will have many opportunities for countries, especially Vietnam, when the import tax on tea in Poland will reduce to 0% when the EVFTA agreement comes into effect. And the third news concerning the US market. The US market, a potential tea import market with a tea import value about 474 million USD. If Poland is a center of European tea consumption, the US is also a market with a strong growth in tea products. According to statistics from the US International Trade Commission, the US tea import in the first 3 months of 2020 reached 25,500 tons worth 110.4 million USD, up to 3.4% in volume and 5.4% in value over the same period in 2021. The average price of imported tea in the US reached 4,526.6 US per ton, up to 1.9% compared to the first 3 months of last year. And the US imported mainly black tea in the first 3 months of 2021, reaching 21,140 tons, followed by green tea. US imports in the first 3 months of 2021 reached 4,000 tons worth 34.16 US millions. With such a large import value, this is considered a big market for tea products. However, international tea experts emphasize that the US is a fastidious market with high standards quality and food hygiene and safety. Therefore, business need to pay attention to quality standards to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. So that's all the news related to the global tea market. We are now turning to the second part of Vihaba news, the Vietnamese tea market. Not outside the declining trend of world tea production, Vietnam's tea export also show no positive signs. Both output and export value of Vietnamese tea decreased in September 2021, leading to a decline in market share in some markets such as Russia. However, in the Taiwan market, Vietnam is still the leading country in terms of tea exports. So, an overview of Vietnamese tea's exports. According to the estimates of Agency of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Trade, tea export in September 2021 reached 12,000 tons with 22 million USD. Generally, in the first 9 months of 2021, tea exports are estimated at 92,000 tons with 155 million US dollars, down 6.3% in volume and 1.4% in value over the same period in 2020. The average export price of tea in the first 9 months of 2021 is estimated at 1,686.2 US dollar per ton, up to 5.2% over the same period in 2020. This is mainly due to the COVID-19 situation. The pandemic situation is still complicated, causing many tea processing factors to suspend the production and negatively affecting the export activities. Therefore, the volume and the value of tea export in September 2020 decreased sharply. The prospect of tea export in the near future will depend greatly on the disease control as well as the progress of vaccination against COVID-19. And back to further details in some main exporting country of Vietnamese tea. The market share of Vietnamese tea exported to Russia decreased. Also due to the complicated disease situation, Vietnam's tea export to Russia have decreased in the recent months, although trade between the two countries has continued to grow. Vietnam-Russia trade cooperation has achieved positive developments, and import and export turnover between the two countries in the first 7 months of the year reached 3.6 billion USD, up to 25.9% over the same period in 2020. And with tea products, Vietnam is the 5th largest tea supplier to Russia. The volume and value of imports from Vietnam both decreased in the first 8 months of 2021. The proportion of tea imports from Vietnam accounted for 8.2%, down 2.1 percentage points over the same period in 2020. Especially black tea, Vietnam is the 4th largest supplier of black tea to Russia. The average price of black tea imported from Vietnam reached $1,738.2 per ton, up to 10% over the same period in 2020. Not only Vietnam, the volume of imported tea to Russia from India, Sri Lanka all decreased. And the second news of the Vietnamese tea concerning the Taiwan market. Vietnam leads tea export to Taiwan. Although there has been a decrease due to the impact of the pandemic in the Taiwan market, Vietnam is still the leading country in the top 37 exporting countries of this item to Taiwan, with both output and value increased. Over the years, Vietnam and Taiwan had an extensive cooperation relationship, which is considered to be increasingly close. Since 1987, the bilateral trade has increased 27 times and investment by 28 times. Trade turnover between Vietnam and Taiwan has maintained its growth over the years, and in the first quarter of 2021, revenue bilateral trade reached $5.975 million USD, up to 70.7% over the same period last year. In particular, tea is the outstanding product that Vietnam exports to Taiwan. Taiwan has imported over 22,170 tons of tea from 32 partners worldwide, in which 53.29% is Vietnamese tea. In terms of export value, Vietnamese tea to Taiwan reached 80.55 million USD, accounting for 30.59% of the total import turnover of tea in this country. According to the Taiwan Tea Processing Association, 56% of tea imported from Vietnam is black tea, 33% is oolong tea, and the rest is green tea. Vietnam is the main supplier of green tea to Taiwan market in the first months of 2021, accounting for 78.9% of the total amount of green tea imported by Taiwan. So this is all news from Vihaba concerning the tea market, both the global market and the Vietnamese market. Thank you for your time.